John Morris tells his version of the shooting that brought the siege to an end. President Brezhnev is among leaders of 90, a long-time employee at the embassy, and the only British hostage to be held in the same area as the Iranian hostages. He talks of the hostage who volunteered to die, of the moment when, in his eyes, the gunmen became plain terrorists, and of the moment when the commandos saved his and many other lives. Kate Adie reporting.
Throughout the siege, Mr. Morris's moped was parked against the railings of the embassy. But it wasn't until the third day that it was confirmed he was a hostage. He works at the embassy as a chauffeur, and today, after his ordeal, his moped was parked outside his London home. It's 33 years to the day that he began work at the Iranian embassy, and he's well aware of the present Iranian Islamic commitment. He described how one hostage, Abbas Lavasani, offered to be the first to die if the gunman wanted to kill someone.
He'd previously volunteered that if anyone was to die, he would be the first one. I mean, he said he would volunteer his life because of his faith. I mean, he believes so much in God that that he had no fear of death. I mean, I'm sure he didn't want to die. Nobody wants to die, but he had a very strong faith.
Did he seem very calm when he said that?
Yes, because he said it at a period after some tension when various other people had been threatened. I mean, he said then that if they have to kill somebody, I'll be the first to volunteer. But he said it solemnly, I mean, because nobody likes the thought of dying, but he genuinely meant he would be prepared to give his life, and I admired him for that.
Were you in the room when he was taken out?
He raised his hand and was waved out of the room, and I assumed that he'd gone to the toilet. And then he never reappeared again, and after some time we heard gunshots, and the leader of the group came into the room, and he said that he'd killed a hostage, and I said to him, "Have you really killed a hostage?" And he said, "Yes, of course I have. Do you want to see the body?" And so I said, "No," but I said, "If you've killed a hostage, then that's the end. Your cause is wasted. It's all been for nothing, because there's no way that you can escape from this without being killed yourself." And he said, well, he didn't mind that. He said, we all came here with the idea that we might die, and we're willing to die for our beliefs in our cause.
What happened to you when the assault began by the S.A.S?
Well, I was sitting in this room with a Pakistan journalist. We were always separated in moments of tension. They kept the Iranians one side of the room and us to the other, which we assumed was for our safety. All of a sudden there was this almighty, the first thing we heard was a crashing of glass. All right, this obviously told us that someone was trying to enter the building, and we assumed it was the police, of course. And then as immediately this happened, and then there was a sound of firing, the Iranians rushed into the room, the gunmen, forgive me, rushed into the room, and there was this almighty explosion, a terrific explosion, and a staccato of machine gun fire. I mean, it was really petrifying, and honestly, everyone was stunned. I mean, nobody really realised what was going on. There was panic everywhere, and these boys started to machine gun the Iranian hostages. And at the same time, all the windows at the front of the building were flying out, and glass was shooting about everywhere. And all I could hear was this terrific thunder of bullets in the background, machine gun bullets.
What did you do yourself?
Then I threw myself onto this Pakistan man, because I also felt that this was the end for us. Because although they said they were never going to shoot us, I felt now there was an onslaught by the British authorities. And obviously we were British, so they were going to shoot us as well. And at the same time, the smoke was pouring into the room, and it was absolutely choking. And then all of a sudden, I saw this man who looked like a frogman. He came rushing into the room with a pistol in his hand, and I said, "British, British, British!" And he grabbed hold of me and threw me straight out the room. It was incredible. I mean, I don't know where his strength came from, but he threw me out of the room and into the arms of another man, dressed with this mask and this black suit, and he threw me in turn to another man, and all the time the ceiling's falling down all around me and bullets are spraying all over the wall. I'm not trying to be sensational. I mean, I'm trying to give you a true picture of what it was like. It was a frightening experience, of course, and I was choking on the smoke, as surely was everybody else, and there were other people being ushered out the building in front of me. And then all of a sudden we found ourselves out on the lawn. They dragged us out into the garden, threw us onto the floor, and I was, trying to get my breath back. And suddenly somebody grabbed me, lifted me up, grabbed me, put my arms behind my back, and they tie you up with a plastic cord, I believe, which automatically is a self-locking device, and your hands are locked securely behind you. And somebody lifted up my head and said, "Oh, you're Ron Morris." And I remember saying, how do you know? And this guy said, he said, "We know everybody in there." He said, "We've had pictures of you for the week and for the last week." He said, "We've studied you from every angle, upside down, back to front." He said, "We know everybody by sight."
How do you feel now?
I'm very happy to be out, of course. I mean, it was lovely to breathe fresh air again. And but I'm just sad that it happened. I mean, if it could have ended peaceably, it would obviously have been much better for everybody. I mean, now I think they've lost their cause, and what they've tried to gain is completely gone by the board. I mean, because nobody's going to have any sympathy with them. I mean, up until the point that they killed someone, they were gunmen. But once they killed somebody, then as far as we were concerned, they were terrorists, and we lost all faith in them.